Okay, so the second part of this video is the next page of your notes and practice. So we'll do a couple and then you can finish the paper. So you just want to always identify the shape first. We're looking at pyramids here. And we have a formula for surface area. It's B plus 1/2 PL. And I labeled on there what those things are. But P is the perimeter of the base, similar to what we did before with the pH. And L is the slant height. So if you know those things and you know the area of the base, you can use that formula. Or, as usual, you can always just unfold and make a net, and that's where the 1/2 PL comes from. P is all the bases added together of the triangles, and L is the height. So area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. That's where that comes from. It's not any magical formula. But I'm going to go ahead and plug things in here. So the area of the base, I'm just answering questions. Area of the base is a square. The area of the base is 25 yards squared. I know the slant height is 4.7 yards. The perimeter of the base, we have the perimeter surrounded. That's the outside. There's 4 sides that are 5 each. So the perimeter is 20 yards. So then the surface area would be the area of the base plus 1/2 the perimeter times the slant height. It looks like some magical formula. It's not anything special. I'll show you why here in a second. 25 plus 1/2, 20 times 4.7, 72 yards squared. Okay, here's the other way that you do this. You're going to see where the formula comes from. You have a square in the middle and you unfold the sides. And the square has an area of 25. We already know that. But the sides are triangles and the height is 4.7 and the base is 5. So you have 4 triangles and you take 1/2 base times height to get all those triangles together. Well, I'm going to show you where the formula comes from so you can see it. Some of you might like the understanding part. The perimeter of the triangle is 20, or of the square is 20. 4 times 5 is 20. The half comes from the area of a triangle. So this also works. You have 4 triangles that are this way. Some of you like that. Some of you like the formula. I don't care which one you use. Okay? So you're going to do number 2. Number 2 is a triangular base, so just be careful. It doesn't have 4 triangles, it only has 3. I'm going to do number 3 down here. Actually, I'll do number 2 to make it a little cleaner here, so you can just keep working. So the area of the base is a triangle. It's 9 by 7.8, so 1/2, 9 times 7.8. Area of a triangle is half base times height, 35.1. And then the perimeter of the base, it's equilateral, so I have 3 times 9. It's 27. The slant height, it gives me right there, is 7.5. And the more you label on here, the less confused you're going to get when you put all these formulas together. So then my surface area is my base, 35.1, plus 1/2 the perimeter times the slant height. It's really just a lot of plugging in, as long as you get the things plugged in right to start with. .136.35 inches squared. So this is just a good structure to help you think about it. If you don't want to do it that way, just write down your formula. Area equals B plus 1/2 PL, and then make sure you find all of those parts as you work through it. This, you need to show work. Don't just do it I just did it in my calculator. I just doing it in my calculator. That's not good consistent work. Okay, we'll flip it over to the back. I'll let you finish these 2. On the back we have cones. Just like with cylinders, cones are much more formulaic. You just need to make sure you have the slant height. If you have the radius, you need the slant height. A lot of these will give you the regular height, and you got to work around that. So this gives you the slant height, 10.2. Make sure they're giving you the radius. They're not. They're giving you the diameter here, so fill it in as the radius. And then you can find the surface area by just using this formula, pi r squared plus pi rl. Same thing up here. This one, they do give you the radius. So just little things to be careful of, and it's just plugging in the formula. Here, I want you to note, find that you need to find the slant height. So if you look right here, I know the radius is 3 centimeters because the diameter is 6. So I have a right triangle there, and they gave me the regular height, and that will come in later when we do volume. But you need to do Pythagorean theorem just like we showed you with pyramids. 3 squared plus 10.4 squared equals the slant height. So they don't give you the slant height. Make sure you find it. It's worth writing down your formula every time and making sure you have those things that are in there. So 10.8 slant height, a little bit bigger than the regular height. And then it's just plugging in. I think you can plug it in at this point. Pi r squared plus pi rl, pi times 3 squared plus pi times 3 times 10.8. And leave it in terms of pi, that's fine. Okay, so you can finish that one. Those are similar. Just make sure they're not giving you the diameter. Down here, this is not a regular pyramid, so you cannot use your shortcut formula. You have to use nets or triangles. You have 2 triangles on each side that are equal. The 1/2 b plus 1/2 pl only works for regular objects. Okay, so we're going to work on finishing the rest on your own. You can ask questions after you watch this. This is just the basic notes because I knew we'd be finishing up at different times.